Good evening. We'll go ahead and call this evening's board meeting to order. Renee, if you would, show all board members present except for Mrs. Kraft. If you would, join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we've got some salutes this evening, which is always my favorite part of the meeting. Mr. White, would you mind taking the first one since Mrs. Kraft isn't here?
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
The board salutes Alex Colucci and Miranda Mason from Utica Elementary and Mackenzie Sutherland from Parkwood Elementary for being selected as Federal Reserve for Financial Literacy poster contest winners. Students in grades 3 through 4 of the 8th Federal Reserve District of Louisville Zone, which includes Southern Indiana, submitted artwork designed around the theme of Soar to Savings, which encouraged students to develop good savings habits. The artwork of these 3 students will be featured in a calendar that will be distributed throughout the Louisville Zone. Congratulations, Alex, Miranda, and Mackenzie.
Wow.
We are very proud of these 3 students. Again, they bring great honor to themselves, to their schools, and to their parents. To know that this is something that they've created that's going to be there forever is a tremendous honor for them. Their creative juices are flowing, which is great, and we really appreciate all 3 of you for everything that you're doing for our school system, for your schools, and for yourselves and families. So congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Pavey's going to recognize Jeff Farmer for us.
Be honored to do that. Jeff Farmer Financial Literacy Educator Award. Congratulations to Wilson Elementary School teacher Jeff Farmer, who was selected to receive the Centra Foundation's Financial Literacy Educator Award. The Foundation's mission is to provide grants to qualified not-for-profit organizations that meet criteria needs in the community where Centra members and employees live and work. This award is given to individuals who encourage financial literacy, and Mr. Farmer was selected for establishing a school bank at Wilson Elementary in which he works with students to help them understand the banking process and proper money management. The board salutes Jeff Farmer.
Face the crowd, face the audience. This is a certificate of recognition. It's a small token of our appreciation. We've got tremendous educators committed to kids in our school generation, and anytime we get the opportunity to give a pat on the back to one of our best, then we certainly appreciate it and we'll take full advantage of it. Jeff brought great honor to yourself and to Wilson, your family. We're very proud of you, and thank you for all you do every day for our kids.
Ms. Perkins, would you take the next one for us, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
The board would like to recognize Amon Armour. Am I saying that right? Amon Armour, good. From Thomas Jefferson Elementary. Amon was born with a type of dwarfism, but this first grade student does not allow this rare condition to keep him from participating in sports. In early August, Amon represented the USA as he competed at the 2013 World Dwarf Games at Michigan State University. The World Dwarf Games is held every 4 years and is governed by the International Dwarf Athletic Federation, which encourages international sporting competition among dwarf athletes. Amon participated in the World Games by competing in 5 different sports: basketball, track and field, flag football, soccer, and floor hockey. Congratulations to Amon Armour for his tremendous accomplishment. Wow, he has his medals on. Look at those medals.
You know what? I've got to talk to you for a second. Now, you were at Michigan State University, right? I'm a graduate of Michigan State University. So you loved it, right? Was it a great time? And maybe as you continue to get older, maybe consideration might be Michigan State University. What do you think? And because you are an outstanding athlete, then I don't see why you couldn't earn a scholarship in one of those sports at Michigan State University. What do you think about that? Would that be cool? That's awesome. You know what? You have a few medals here.
Yeah.
You want to tell us about them? Go ahead. Tell us.
I was playing basketball because of Michigan State. And I have teammates I can make us friends with, all of my friends. So we play basketball and football and track and field and soccer and basketball.
That's very impressive. It's lucky for anyone to be good at any one sport. And for you to be so good at all these sports, we are very proud of you. We're very proud of you. You're a great young man. And our school system is very lucky that you're a student here. And we want you to know that we're going to always be there for you to support you for the rest of your career in Greater Clark. Is that okay? Are you okay with that? That's a special young man right there.
Mr. Hall, would you take our River Valley student, please?
I sure can. Would Jonathan White please come forward? The board salutes River Valley Middle School 6th grade student Jonathan White, whose heroic action saved the life of a little girl on August 18, 2013. As lots of kids do on a hot summer day, Jonathan was enjoying a swim in the pool when he noticed something lying on the bottom. He soon realized it was a small child, so he dove to the bottom of the pool to check on her, but she did not respond. He immediately surfaced and yelled for the lifeguard. Jonathan then dove back down to the bottom of the pool, rescued the child, and brought her to the pool deck where the lifeguard then took over. Jonathan White is a hero and is commended for his bravery and swift action. Thank you, Jonathan.
Wow.
Pretty fortunate to have a lot of great kids and a great teacher being recognized. A lot of great kids being recognized tonight, right? But just take it to another level. Do what you did to save another life. It's something that's so special. We're very proud. Thank you for being a great person you are, and thank you for the public school system.
I see a proud principal and some proud parents in the audience too. Would you all please stand and be recognized? We're so glad y'all could join us, and I do want to let you know that the rest of the meeting will probably be pretty boring. So if you would like to leave, this would be a good time for you to do that. But you're welcome to stay.
That was pretty admirable. For a kid to do that and not panic and go back down and bring her up, that's the part that got me. That is amazing.
We've got a much smaller audience now. That's okay, that's okay. The important part is taken care of. All right, we need to approve tonight's agenda. To have a
So moved.
motion, thank you, Mr. Satterley. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. White. Any questions, discussion? There's no proposed addendums or amendments, so. All right, all in favor of approving tonight's agenda as is, please raise your right hand. All right, that's 6-0. Next, we have minutes from previous meetings. Need a motion to approve items F 1, 2, and 3.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. And
I'll
second, Mr.
second.
Pavey. Any discussion, questions? All in favor? All right, that's 6-0. Thank you. No public comments that I'm aware of. So we'll go ahead and approve tonight's consent agenda. There's a motion for item H 1 through 5, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Satterley. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Hall. Questions or discussion? All right, all in favor? Please raise your right hand. All right, that's 6-0. All right, Mr. Satterley, you're up. Gifts to buildings.
That means Renee's up, because I don't have a copy.
Uh-oh.
How much was the total down? 27? As you can see, one, there, here. God love it. Now I need my glasses.
Here.
No, I'm teasing. I'm not there yet. I might be next week.
Hello.
But anyway, every week we get something from someone in the community as a donation to schools. Looks like a big one this week was the Iron Order of Big Wash Chapter. I don't know what that is from New Washington, but I don't. And $600 from New Washington High School volleyball parents, and then a myriad of other donations. Every one from $20 up helps. We got $27.57 again this week. It's always in several thousand every week. And we appreciate the community and make a motion to accept the gifts to buildings.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Pavey. Any other discussion? All in favor of approving tonight's gifts to buildings? All right, that's 6-0. Thank you. Move into action items. Item 1 is Special Olympics transportation.
Thank you. This is a request that we have had in years past, and we're just asking for you to reconsider it again and approve the use by the Special Olympics of Clark County of a school bus and a driver for transporting special needs athletes to Special Olympic events, state competition, and regional events. Actually, the gasoline used and the expenses of the bus driver are paid by the Clark County Special Olympics, and the bus driver is a Greater Clark employee that volunteers to work with them to process and provide the transportation. There's 125 athletes that range in age 8 to age 62, and they don't all attend the same event, but it's something that we certainly support through our special education program. And I think their first event is going to be in Indianapolis, and it looks like a golf outing, and then a state bowling tournament will be in December. And then they do the women's basketball tournament and men's basketball tournament through the special ed program. So without further info, unless you have questions, we would recommend approving the use of one of our vehicles for the transportation of this exciting event.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. White. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Questions or discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, that's 6-0. Thank you, Sandy. And now we've got policy 4219.4.
That's correct. This is the second reading on this policy, and we do recommend approval. It's the drug and alcohol testing of CDL license holders. And basically, this policy has been in place since 1995. Midwest Toxicology is the entity that performs these drug tests, procedures, and protocols. And it's a random process, and it's only applicable to our transportation department. We were instructed to review and make changes. They've been highlighted in yellow. There have not been any changes made since it was presented for first reading. So at this time, I would recommend, and the superintendent recommends, approval of the revisions.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Satterlee. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Page. Questions, discussion? All right, it is second reading, so we do need to take action. All in favor? And that's 6-0. Next, we have a first reading on policy 5100.
That's correct. And this is compulsory attendance. Unaccredited schools are homeschooling. It is the first reading, so you don't have any action to take, but just a little bit of background information as to why we are bringing this policy revision forward. Indiana Department of Education has issued recommendations to public school corporations that they set out the policies and protocols as to how homeschool students will or will not be accepted into a public school corporation for educational opportunities and for extracurricular opportunities. It has been Greater Clark's past practice that unless a student comes in for a myriad of educational opportunities, that we don't bring them in just for like a biology class, or we don't bring them in just to play basketball or football. And so that's been practice, but it hasn't been reduced to policy. So at this time, we are revising the policy to set that out for anybody that would be interested in knowing about our homeschooling process. If you have any questions about the policy, I can answer them now, or you can call me and we'll have it on the agenda in October for second reading.
Sandy, I saw that the IDOE was doing this, and honestly, I think it's a good idea because we can get abused real easily. So, good move.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We have some recension policies.
Right. In our policies, we have policies that are really outdated, mainly because job descriptions. We used to, back in the olden days, have job descriptions that we kept in our policy manual. But over the years, we have changed that practice to putting them in through human resources, and we maintain them and we update them anytime we have a posting for the positions that are listed here. So we are, and also our organizational chart, I mean, it changes on a fairly routine basis. And then this Chapter 1 funds, it was just one that's been not updated since the 1990s specifically. So we are recommending that we rescind these 15 policies. This kind of came up when Daniel was trying to work on our website and update, information that went into our policy manual online, and he questioned these, and we do agree that all the descriptions that are listed are out of date and obsolete, I would say. So we are recommending, and the superintendent recommends, rescinding these 15 policies listed at this time.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Satterlee. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins.
Forgot to look to my right.
Any discussion, questions?
I'm glad we're getting this cleaned up.
Definitely.
Yeah, at least maybe somebody will learn to read these policies. There's so many of them right now. It's like, where do you start looking?
All right, all in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, that's 6-0. And thank you, Sandy, because you know a lot of the history of these policies, and there's no way we could manage all this without your knowledge. So we appreciate you.
She's probably guilty of creating most of them.
Thompson Lane again.
Yeah, this one's been floating around for a while. As most of you know, the city has been working on the development of the Thompson Lane project. It is a installation of a traffic light at on Highway 62 near Jeffersonville High School and Thompson Lane, as it is affectionately called. It's also adjacent to Christ Gospel Church there on Highway 62, where there's some traffic issues of persons trying to get in and out of that location during their worship times. So we've been working for months on the details of the interlocal agreement. Specifically, we're changing the road design because those of you who have been on the board for a while will remember that we did approve an interlocal agreement with the city of Jeffersonville a number of years ago, but at that time the roadway was going to go behind what we call the Auxiliary Services Center, now Clark County Middle High School. In further researching this, we determined that it really wasn't the best use of the land or the most safe location to run it behind the building. So we've had it redesigned. We've been working with the city engineer, Andy Crouch, and also city attorney, Les Merkley. We've redesigned the roadway so that it will pass in front of Clark County Middle High School. It will intersect with our existing roadway that comes on and off of Highway 62 to access Jeffersonville High School. And cost was a big factor as to who was going to pay for what. And so we have worked out the details, and the city is going to be responsible for the cost of installing that roadway access in exchange for us giving them the temporary easements that they'll need to come in and do the specific traffic lights, and also the easement and drainage right-of-ways to get in there and do the work that they need to do for the purpose of putting their traffic light in. The other thing that's new from past years is to try to alleviate the congestion and the problems with the church having people come out and try to make right and left-hand turns onto Highway 62 after their worship session. The city has been working with them about the possibility of when the roadway goes in on our property and will split to the left to access our roadway back to Jeff High, to have that roadway also turn to the right and go over to the to the property line where the fence is currently, and in there, with the church being responsible of running a roadway up to there, and we would do a limited private use agreement with the church for liability purposes for them to be able to access that traffic light. We think that, if necessary, we can close that off at times when they're not using the property. I've actually just scheduled a meeting with Barbara Young for next Monday to kind of talk through the details, including Andy Crouch and Travis, who's been very actively involved in trying to put all this together over a number of years. But approvals by the city have to be through the redevelopment commission, which is one of their mechanisms for funding this project, and also through the city council. So we would ask you to approve this interlocal agreement as it has been revised, and the attached resolution for the Thompson Lane project, subject to the approvals by the city's Department of Redevelopment and City Council. It's a little lengthy, but...
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins. Any questions or comments?
Redevelopment did approve it last Wednesday night.
Did they? I wasn't
City
sure.
Council meets tonight's my understanding, so it's supposed to be on the agenda there tonight, I believe. So hopefully after tonight it'll be a go all the way.
That'd be great.
Won't have to see it anymore. I said we won't have to see it anymore. We've seen Thompson Lane so many times.
We're going to keep our fingers crossed because we really think it'll happen this time, and we're pretty excited about it because it has been a safety concern for our kiddos coming in and out of that non-traffic lighted intersection area, and especially after events for parents and everyone having to school. And we haven't had some accidents there before, so this will be good. This is a good thing.
The time frame also, they would expect to start next spring and get it completed, hopefully prior to the start of the school year. That's the goal. But definitely, as Sandy said, very unsafe situation for a lot of people, so it'll be a great thing to get it done.
Any further? All in favor? All right, that's 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. Dr. Daco, you have a resolution to an amendment?
Yes. This is the next step that we have to proceed with, to amend a lease agreement with the Greater Clark Building Corporation, which will allow us to continue the upgrades of our facilities. Just to remind you, the improvements planned are additional security for all buildings, about $980,000. New boilers and renovations at Charlestown Middle School, New Washington Elementary, and Pleasant Ridge, and new maintenance vehicles, trailers, lawnmowers, lawn equipment for use at all school buildings. What they're going to do is we're going to amend the Parkview Middle School lease and attach it to that. So we're asking permission to start that procedure.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Satterlee. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Pavey. Questions or discussion? All right, all in favor? 6-0. And next we have permission advertised for our hearing of additional appropriation.
That'll be the next thing we need to do is, so we're going to ask permission to advertise, and the advertising we only have to do it one time, is September 11th, and then we will come back on October 22nd, and that's when we'll do the approval for the budget and the notice of lease hearing, notice of additional appropriation, and the 10/28. So that'll all be done on 10/22. So we're just asking permission to advertise all those.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. White. Questions? All in favor? All right, that's 6-0. Thank you. We have a Duke Energy easement request.
Yes, we've been requested by Duke to put up anchors, I guess, so they can construct and operate and maintain in a safe, reliable manner their facilities, their poles, and that nature. The agreement that you have before you is for $500 per anchor. Sandy has already reviewed it, Steve Hobgood's already reviewed it, and we're just bringing it to the board for approval. Wish it was $50,000 per anchor, but I'll take $500. Yes, it's on the 25 acres, the vacant land.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Satterlee. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Pavey. Questions, discussion? The only question I had, Dr. Mellon answered it for me, but just for general knowledge, where they're wanting to put those anchors, not like in the middle of our 25 acres, it's on the edge, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that still leaves us usable land.
And you should have it in the package. I thought there was
Yeah.
a graph. 'Cause on mine, there's a graph that shows where it's going to be
Yeah.
put.
Any other questions? All in favor? All right, thank you. That's 6-0. And last, we have Architect Award for Facility Analysis.
Board, as you remember, part of our strategic planning process was a decision to conduct a facility study, a pretty comprehensive facility study. And so that was part of the strategic plan that was approved last spring. Moving to the next level, we decided that we'd put out requests for proposals, and we did get 4 different proposals that were submitted for consideration. After review of those proposals, it was decided to interview 2 firms, and that was Covert Hawkins and Schmidt and Associates. Covert Hawkins here in Jeffersonville, and Schmidt and Associates out of Indianapolis. We decided to form a committee to conduct the interviews. Mr. White and Ms. Perkins were both part of that, which we appreciate their time, as well as some central office administrators, as well as Mr. Hobgood, Director of Facilities. After conducting the 2 interviews and subsequent discussion, it was decided that the recommendation that we bring forward from the committee to the board would be that Covert Hawkins would be our recommendation to conduct this study. This study will take a minimum of 4 weeks and closer to 8 weeks to complete. The cost of the study will be $100,000. The price may seem to be high, but it's a very comprehensive analysis of every building, every piece of property that we have in our school corporation, looking at demographics, pretty thorough demographic analysis as well, looking at exactly what do we need to do to our buildings, what are the priorities, do we need to consider building new buildings, do we need to look at redistricting. There are a lot of big factors that we need to consider that this study will allow us to bring forward. So it is our recommendation that Colbert Hawkins be hired to be the firm that would conduct this study. Now keep in mind also that they're conducting the study. If any projects come as a result of this study, then they still, would be subject to anything over $150,000. They would be open to a bidding process. So this doesn't guarantee Colbert Hawkins the opportunity to be part of big building projects down the road. They would still have to bid for that opportunity.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Satterley. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Perkins.
You delayed.
Teresa, do you or Jerry, either one, want to add anything since you were in the interview?
I thought both presentations were excellent, but Colbert Hawkins, I was very impressed with the getting to meet the actual people who are going to be working on all the different phases of this project. They all came to the interview process and introduced themselves and told us how they were going to approach their particular piece, whether it be demographics or not demographics, what am I trying to say? Anyway, all the different aspects. And it was nice to put a face with the project. And they're right here in our community, so it's going to be very easy for us to get in contact with them if there is an issue. I'm pleased that we were able to go with this architect firm.
Anything, Jerry?
Pretty well covered it. I think they're both very good firms, and don't think we would have gone wrong either way, but I think Colbert Hawkins will do a great job for us.
Any questions or discussion?
I think Teresa hit it on the head with having them local. If we have a question or problem, concern, we don't have to call Indy and wait for somebody to come down. Whenever we can just call over here and ask. And to my knowledge, Colbert Hawkins has done some outstanding work, and we can see some of the work. I think he has a good recommendation out of the committee, in my opinion.
Were there about 8 people that they brought, 8 or 9?
I think it was maybe 10.
10 people, yeah.
Everyone representing every
different
department,
aspect, yeah.
interiors,
Electrical.
electrical, I mean,
Just
Mechanical, the whole thing.
and they will focus on this project while it's going on. So it's going to be, they're not going to be working on a bunch of other things too. So that helped sell me.
The other thing too we asked them to do is involve our students and our teachers in the process, and because this is a great learning process for our kids and for our teachers, so they're more than eager to help out in that regard as well. It's not something they have to do, but I think it's all about education and about our kids and our teachers. So it'll be a great experience to get them involved in the process. So I thought that was another benefit.
I think they were actually more than eager. I think they really look forward to getting involved with our students and teachers in all of the different things, different aspects of this kind of a job, this kind of a project. As far as there are things you can do with the math teacher, there are things you can do with, of course, our building trades, and it'll be exciting. Might be a good relationship.
Any further? All right, all in favor? And that's 6-0. All right, we're at agenda item K, which is board reports or requests. Mr. Hall, do you have anything?
No, ma'am.
Ms. Perkins?
No, ma'am.
Mr. White?
No, thank you.
Mr. Satterley?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Pavey?
No, ma'am.
All right. No public comments? Board comments? Mr. Hall, you want to close out with anything?
No, ma'am.
Are we trying to set a new record for tonight?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Perkins?
No, ma'am.
All right. Mr. White?
No, thank you.
Mr. Satterley?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Pavey?
No, ma'am.
Dr. Mellon?
I'll be very brief. I have to break this string. Rachel's Challenge.
Oh, yes.
Just have to mention the fact that Rachel's Challenge, it's a program that came about as a result of the unfortunate tragedy at Columbine. Charlestown last year brought it to our schools there. It now has come down. Riverside and Parkview and Jeffersonville High School hosted presentations. I was fortunate enough to attend one of them. I know other people had opportunities to see them in the past, but just want to commend all of the staff members that we have in our school corporation who are bringing this Rachel's Challenge concept into our school corporation, because it's really all about, as much as we want kids to achieve academically, we have to produce good people. And it's about helping our kids make good choices and better decisions and be more respectful in treating others. And so it was just very exciting, and I appreciate the efforts of our staff. Midterms, believe it or not, end of August. We're already at that point in time, and parent-teacher conferences are the 10th, 11th, and 12th of September, so the year is moving very quickly. So just wanted to give you a quick update on that. That was relatively brief, I hope.
Relatively.
Yeah.
Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
And a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor of closing out tonight's meeting? That'll be 6-0. Good night.